Alright, so the server's going down in 4 minutes. I'm going to record this quickly. Here's what the character looks right now, not that different from before. We did make a few changes. Map wise, by the way, we're on tier 4 now. We just got here. So back to the character. We did make a few adjustments. I'll show you them in a bit. Let's see if we can speed run this little recording in 4 minutes before the servers go down, and then I can edit it or just quickly upload it right before the servers come back up and back to gaming. Oh, by the way, I took off my weapon skin, so I get my little pew pews back. Feels more like a Star Wars character now. Okay, so changes for the character. We dropped Orb of Winter, I think it was called, or Eye of Winter. We dropped it. Dropped it because it didn't really feel like it was doing anything at all. And added instead, where is it? Wind Dancer, right here. So Wind Dancer gives you 80% more evasion rating per stage. It gives you, I think it was 3 stages. Yes, it's 3 stages right there. So that translates into me now having 71% evasion and 64% fizz reduction. So it's very nice. I did find myself dying to chaos more often. There's one time where I walked into a room and there were 4 archers, white mobs, that had chaos damage on hit from crossbows, and they all hit me together and I just died. So immediately swapped some gear over. Got 22 chaos res. Got this, so we're at 40 chaos res when I get hit. So that's good enough for now. I need to fix cold res, but this can't change anymore. I don't want to change this. This and this are the only 2 things I can change. And they require money, but I'll work on that as we go. Build wise, not much has changed. I haven't leveled up that much yet. We're going to drop this once we get the next ascendancy where we don't need penetration anymore. I got this. This was nice. I think those are the only. I think this was the only change really so far. Let's see. What else? So Atlas. I don't even know how to open up the Atlas. Let's see if it's over here. Okay, here, Atlas skill tree. So now that we're running maps and we have some points, I'm allocating these points to getting more maps, basically. I want to get more maps so I can keep this going because it's hard to find maps. Also, it's hard to find rare maps, and I don't want to elk them either. So I want to hopefully get as many waystones as I can, as high level slips as I can. So 10% chance, 10% chance to get more tier, 10% higher tier again. And hopefully they drop rare, and so that they're yellow maps, so that would be so that just we can run, we can get more stuff back from them basically. Because for yellow maps, look, 275% chance to drop, 90% chance to drop on a blue, 90, 95, 80. This is 275%. That's what we want, yellow ones. Yeah, that's about it, really. Didn't have much to add for the video. I might start recording videos every 2 days if I'm not going through many changes throughout the work week. So don't really have that much time to play. These are really nice, by the way. 5% to all LE res, and there goes the server. Well, still continue with the recording, I guess. Basically, next steps for the build would be to get those ascendancy nodes done. At least the next 2. The next 2 will give us the crit hits, avoid elemental res, and hopefully from there we can find the next one. So when I was playing the build, I was running into some problems where is feeling slow. The build is just feeling slow, and looking closely at it, it's not the damage. The damage is great. It's not survivability. There was a problem with Chaos Res. We fixed that. The problem really came down to movement speed. It just felt, even though we had damage, even though we had survivability, it just didn't feel good to play the build. 30% movement speed, fix that. I was looking for more ways to get more movement speed. I haven't looked at a tree yet to see if we can get movement speed from there. But I've been looking for, the usual stuff we would get in POE1, like Onslaught for movement speed, Frenzy for movement speed, maybe some skills like Phase Run or something for movement speed. You can't really find much. So might just have to keep the boots for movement speed. Maybe we'll try to go higher than 30%. Maybe you can go 35%. Because the build felt really good as soon as I got the movement speed running. I do want to think about what the next build will be, or maybe what this build will evolve into. Maybe Flicker Strike. Maybe, I really like just playing a melee character that shoots projectiles. Southpaw Reeve was one of the first builds I ever did. It was Ziggy's build. Elemental Buzzsaw's build, Dual Strike builds, Cyclone builds. Those sort of builds are always been my favorite. The build that just blows up the whole screen in one shot, I don't really like that. So I might just end up making another monk. Maybe have it around the other buff skill. So I think it's called Scattering Wind. It's the wind one it's the wind version of Charge Staff that you use on stun, and it gives you the little wind projectiles on hit. I might try to make a build around that in the future. It depends how interesting this build stays, really, or if it ever hits a block. So far it hasn't. So far it seems to just be able to handle anything thanks to the defenses, and the Tempest Bell is still broken. The Realm is down for a patch though, so maybe this patch just nerfs the bell, and here goes the next build right away. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see what happens though. That's about it for this video. So the servers are back up. I wanted to add this quick note here. What I found worked really well for advancing maps and getting more waystones, because in the beginning when I started mapping, I was starting to run out of waystones where I wasn't even seeing any tier 2 waystones. So what I did was I took my highest maps and I kept running them on these boss nodes. So wherever you have this picture of this boss here, it adds extra mob to the maps. That's a boss, and it has a much higher chance of dropping waystones, especially waystones of a higher tier. Now I didn't do this for tier 1s, because tier 1s you can just buy from the map guy. But for starting at tier 2, when I started running out of those tier 2 and tier 3 waystones, I would save them and run them on these boss nodes. So what I would do is I would use a tier 1 or any lower tier garbage waystones basically to path myself to these boss nodes, and then I would run the boss nodes on my one of my best maps. So let's say for example I'm going for tier 4 maps. I'm not going to run my tier 6 maps because I want those to count when I'm actually doing a tier 6 quest. Instead I'm going to run my tier 4 maps, my best tier 4 maps, the yellow ones, and save them for this moment. And then that'll give me lots of experience, or lots of drops, and lots of waystones, which will let me just keep continuing this cycle. Now, assuming this map is infinitely expanding, and I think it is, forever, we should be able to just keep finding more of these. There's some up here for me, there's some here, and I think there is maybe some here. Oh, there's some here as well. And I've also done a bunch of them as I was pushing up the tiers. And yeah, I just wanted to add that in. That was very helpful for me. I'm hoping you find it helpful as well. And yeah, okay, I'm going to get back to my gaming. See you.